Hello, my name is Haley McHenry, and today I will be giving a brief overview of what I learned in Chapter 3 of Measurement and Assessment in Teaching. Now, the subtitle for Chapter 3 was Instructional Goals and Objectives Found in Assessments. Now, this chapter was pretty self explanatory to me. It had a lot of valuable information. However, some of the information actually went into depth and brought up a lot of points that I had never been exposed to, and these were some very good points to consider when teaching. Now, this chapter started off with a very important question that I really found interesting. And it asked, what do you expect from your teaching? Not what do your students expect from your teaching, or what do parents expect from your teaching, or not even what does your principal or boss expect from your teaching, but it was specifically what do you expect from your teaching in terms of understanding, knowledge, attitudes, the way your students will respond to what you're teaching them, and last but not least, assessment and the results or outcomes of what your students are being taught. Now, beginning as early as 1980, a lot of acts and laws were put into place to ensure that students would get a valuable education and that the curriculum that they would be taught would be carried out with positive results. One of these acts was actually the No Child Left Behind Act, NCLB. This act was used to ensure that no child will be left behind academically, and that teachers, schools, and school districts would be held responsible for the outcome and academic achievement of all of their students. Another act that was very important that stood out to me was the Curriculum and Evaluation Standards, which was later changed to the Principles and Standards for School Math. These acts were very similar in what they expected and the outcomes that they expected from not only the teachers but for the students as well. Also, looking back at this chapter, it asks a number of questions that I actually took some notes on. Instructional goals and objectives. First, what teachers want to do, they want to provide instructions and directions for their students to follow. They also want to make sure that they clarify what they want their students to know by the end of the lesson. Next, they want to convey the instructions to the students, the parents, and other school personnel so that not only the student will be aware of what he or she should learn in the end, but other parents and so forth should be aware so that they will be able to take the necessary actions to help these students succeed. And last but not least, the teacher will provide a basis for assessing student learning. So basically, this means that the teacher will assess the students and what they have learned by giving them some type of test to see how much information the student has taken in or how much information the student has failed to take in so that the teacher can go back and maybe revamp their curriculum so that the student will be able to succeed the next time. Also, this chapter provided information on stating the general instructional objectives. So basically, they're saying when you're providing instructions for your students, the student needs to be able to understand the terminology. The student needs to understand what exactly you're asking for them. They need to understand the concept as well as the theme and the language in which you're talking to your students. They also need to understand the specific principles of what they'll be learning. Because if the student does not have a clear understanding of what the teacher is asking of them or for them, the student will not be able to succeed. Also, when looking at to prepare tentative lists of your learning outcomes, you need to review the list for completeness. Are all the outcomes included what the teacher should expect of the student? Are they appropriate? Do they relate to the goals of the teacher, student, as well as a school? Soundness are the outcomes in harmony with the learning or curriculum of the teacher in school. And last but not least, feasibility. Are these outcomes realistic? Now, one thing that's very important to me is realistic outcomes. How a teacher expects for their students to do. For example, a teacher cannot expect for all of their students to make an A+ on a math test when the teacher has a classroom full of students who are average C students. The teacher must work with these students and help them build up their academic career in order for these students to be able to perform in this type of matter. Now, in conclusion, this chapter was very important to me because it basically told what teachers need to do in order to receive the type of outcomes that they want in their education, as far as stating what they want, as in the objectives, making it known, then going on to telling not only the students but the parents and other leaders what they want so that they will be able to help these students and children as well. And last but not least, assessing what they have taught so that they will be able to see the outcome and the results of what they have taught their students. In my opinion, this chapter was very, very interesting, and it's a chapter that is very vital in education because, once again, if a teacher does not know what he or she expects out of their students, and if they do not have a clear, so to say, curriculum of what they want to teach, there is no way their students can succeed. The teacher must be knowledgeable about what they want to teach, how they're going to teach it, and what they expect from their students in order for their students to give them the desired results. And chapter 3 most definitely explained this in depth and has a lot of very valuable information that I will most definitely use when I begin my teaching career. And that's the end of my summary and overview for chapter 3.